And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Real Estate, hosted by yours truly, the Bearded Man of Real Estate. My name's Ray. This is Dan. Say hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
And that's Daniel. You're
Can
looking
you
a little
guys
red,
tell
Dan.
me- I know it's. I don't know if I can adjust this at all, but I'm currently. I need you guys to call me.
Red man.
What's his name? I'm in Colorado this week. Rocky Mountain High. John Denver. I need to just call me John Denver this weekend because I'm actually in Colorado Springs for a softball tournament. But this is my web camera and my audio from my. It's just literally stripped down, bare bones, like we started the show. But
yeah, back in the day.
So, yeah.
It doesn't sound bad. It's going to be a little bit spotty for him. He's going to come in and out of the show. He may freeze on occasion. We're broadcasting in 3 different places right now. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and we're in Clubhouse. So if you're following along in Facebook, you can actually make a comment. Then we can display your comment and talk about you or your comment. So there's D. Jones. She's saying, "Hey, beards." She says, "Shades. Are you asking him to pull the shades?" A cat. Oh, she's missing your shades and your cat. Nope, the cats did not travel with him.
Shades are down in the rental car. I did not bring the cats, no. But the shades are down in the rental car. I just didn't want to go get them, that's all.
Matt LaMarche is joining us from YouTube. He can comment. We can also display his comment and talk about him. So there's Matt LaMarche. Everybody say hi. He says that Dan is calling from 2012.
Yeah.
Did we have Zooms in 2012? I don't remember. I don't even think we had FaceTime in 2012.
Yeah.
Video calls, was that a thing? When did video calls become a thing? Somebody maybe give me a number crunch on that.
Zoom was founded in 2011.
Oh yeah. So early Zoom. That would have been like Skype. I guess Skype was before that, right?
Skype was bigger, yeah, and that was like late 10s, wasn't it?
And most people don't know, like through the iterations of the show, we actually started this show live on YouTube when YouTube Live was brand new. And we thought, oh, let's go out onto this platform and dominate it. Let's get while it's early, let's get a whole bunch of people. Anyone wanting to watch YouTube Live is going to tune into our show. It was like 3 people. And we did the first 3 episodes on YouTube Live only. Yeah. And then we decided to switch back to Facebook. So we went to Facebook. We were doing some other stuff on Facebook. So we went to Facebook, got thousands and thousands of views on Facebook for every one of our episodes, which was cool, and tons of interaction. And the Facebook algorithm changed. And so now we broadcast in 3 different places. So
yeah, and it turns out I'm actually calling from Matt's mom's house.
Whoa, bam.
D asked about shade. So there you go. I threw some shade.
There's some shade. We're also in Clubhouse. If you heard me mention that earlier, if you're following along in Clubhouse, go up to the top of the room and you'll see this club is called Real Estate Networking. It's the largest real estate club on earth
in the world.
In Clubhouse. Yeah.
In the world.
30-something thousand people, 38,100 people are in this group. So you want to be sure you click that and follow the group. You can also follow along with any of the moderators that we have up here. These are all people that we know, love, and trust, and that are great. They're going to help us keep the room kind of intact, make sure no spammers are coming up during the show. And so be sure you follow along with those people too. But
the little green house is gone in Clubhouse, isn't it, Ray? Or no?
No, on well, you're a droid, so different.
Who knows what they're doing?
On Apple, it's still there. But if you follow the club and follow some of the people, you'll be notified of when we start great rooms like this one, like Justin Conoco. He's up there. Be sure you follow him. He's got the practical and tactical room that's every Tuesday in the Real Estate Networking Club at the same time, just a different day. So we should do that. I was saying this, Justin, I think last time when you weren't here, I was telling people to follow along so they get into your episodes too. But we should do like try to find a good quality content every single day at 12 o'clock Central in Real Estate Networking, so people can just tune in every single day to Real Estate Networking about that time and get some good quality stuff.
I mean, it's usually around lunch. People for a little bit. It's a perfect time.
What were you saying, Justin? We'll have to see what we can get.
No, I don't want to mess up the feed for the show. I wasn't sure if I was streaming, but yeah, I agree. I think just having a steady time slot gets tons of sense.
Yeah. Howard Broadsley joins the show from Israel. He's one of the fellows that makes our show worldwide. Not that a Canadian wouldn't make it worldwide, but I mean we go all the way around the world when we have an Israeli join the show.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a ton to talk about today. One of the things we're going to be talking about is pending home sales. They may surprise you, which is kind of crazy, but are these gains short-lived, or is this something that we're going to see month after month? We're also going to be talking about home prices, mortgage demand, adjustable rate mortgages. Those are in strong demand right now. So we'll talk about that and the consequences of it. Surging mortgage rates, what's happening to buyers around that. And lastly, we're talking about the investors. The investors are in the crosshairs of Congress, which means we're going to get to see some testimonies probably.
Yeah, this is still early on. So there's not much, but you know, as you read through it, but it's definitely interesting. And
if we know one thing is it's real estate is a favorite investment vehicle of politicians who are playing early odds on things. So we'll see how they react to some of that. Clinton. All right, Dan. It's old Arkansas stuff there, man. Before we get into all these, would you tell people what this show is actually all about?
What you know what the tired thing is just so.
What did Scap? Oh, Scap says Dan looks tired.
This is how I look. This is just how I look, dude.
What's really funny? So recently I made a change, right? So our brokerage merged with a international firm, I guess, if you count Canada. And so now we are Pixel Properties brokered by Real. Well, I talked to someone the other day and they were like, you seem very like content and at ease. I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, things are good. And like, no, you seem like really chill now compared to what you were. And I was like, what was I giving off before? Like, you know, I didn't even know. No one said like, you seem really tight and stressed. So yeah.
I've known Ray for 5 years and he's been he's kind of like the Arkansas housing market.
Yeah. It's just even kill, a little up and a little down. But it's interesting that was coming out because I was pretty stressed. Anyway.
This is just what I look like, by the way. This is just how I look. So,
sorry to disappoint.
Yeah, sorry. I just look like this. And I'm from California, so yeah, I'm really laid back, I guess. I don't know. No,
that's why you're red, because you're sunburned. California.
Well, I did. I got sunburned yesterday out on the softball field. That might be red, but I think it's mostly the camera hair. But anyway, Ray, but we digress. I would love to tell you guys what the show is about. Now, when Ray and I met here.
What kind of show is this?
What kind of show is this, actually? I don't know, but we're becoming more and more famous on YouTube. We're almost up at 100 views per episode now, by the way.
Watch out now.
So y'all can talk about how tired I look, but this work has paid off because now we're at 82 views on one of our videos. So
YouTube loves this face.
Yeah, absolutely they do. And so does Instagram. Loves my face for some weird reason. I mean, likes it. Okay, we won't love is a strong word. When Ray and I met here on the interwebs, like I just mentioned, it's been a while. We've known each other a long time here. Yes, we are #influencers. I had an idea for a show called The Bearded Men of Real Estate, which is now This Week in Real Estate, hosted by the Bearded Men of Real Estate.
That's right.
But when I met Ray, I noticed something very interesting about him.
What was that, Dan?
And this is going to be the most controversial statement that I ever say on the show.
Whoa.
Ray has never, nor will he ever, not even accidentally, put the toilet paper roll on where it rolls underneath. He always does it over the top. Always, no matter what.
That's true. I am OCD.
Never, ever will he do it the wrong way underneath. It's not how that works, people. Not how it works.
If your toilet paper is in a mullet, it's the wrong way.
It's the wrong way. There's no, like, I know these are very divisive times, but this is
that's something we should all be able to agree about. Well, and I was actually at someone's house recently, and I noticed I was just washing my hands, but I noticed that their toilet paper was on backwards, and I switched it.
I do the same thing. I just take a second.
Let me get this for you.
And you know what I always think? Was that a mistake, or are they these people? Do they do the mullet?
They can't. No, surely not. They wouldn't be my friends. Right? I wouldn't be friends with them if they were.
So you might have to reconsider it. So, okay, now I'm going to ask you this, Ray. Go over there again. Go wash your hands again. And
see if it's split back. That's how I know.
You got to give it enough time to get through that one roll. So another couple weeks or something.
That's right. Yeah.
And then see.
That's funny.
Yeah, you absolutely have to flip it. But no, I already knew that about Ray because
we're sane.
Because we're normal. But yeah, because we're men. But anyway, I noticed he's obviously a beautifully bearded man that's going to be doing, hopefully soon, a series on Instagram about beard care. Maybe he can plug that later if he's actually going to do it. But I also notice he loves giving value up front to not only his clients, but just to humans in general, even tired looking ones like me. So the show's about being more as an agent, but also being more as a human.
And one of the things we believe in being more as a human is to know what in the world is going on so that you can give your clients a lowdown on, hey, here's what's happening nationally. Here's what's happening in our market so that they can make the best decision for them, given what's going on in the market. So, and speaking of this challenge that we were talking about, the beard thing. So I'm doing 2 challenges that are running at the same time. One is a TikTok challenge. I am on TikTok, but it's just stupid stuff there.
Oh, and I got a lead from TikTok the other day. I'm not on TikTok. But someone reached out and said, hey, I saw you on TikTok. I'm all
Dan Revolution.
Yes, I do have Dan Revolution. It's there, but I haven't posted anything in 2 years since Ray come up with the name.
So I'm on TikTok. I've posted some stuff just kind of piddling around. And my friend Candace was like, hey, I'm doing a TikTok challenge. And I was like, hey, that's great.
Thanks.
And she was like, you should do it. And my initial answer was no way. But then I thought, I'm doing some other challenges during this time period. I've never done a TikTok challenge. Okay. All right. So I said, okay, I'll do it. So the challenge is in 30 days, I have to put 90 videos on TikTok.
In 30 days?
In 30 days.
That's a stupid challenge.
It's an average of 3 a day. But what it's going to do is kind of spike the algorithm a little bit and give it enough information to find an audience very quickly.
And it's also going to give China all of your information.
Well, I mean, they already have it.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they've got my Facebook. They've got it.
I like that the show is
give me the tinfoil hat. So that's one of the challenges that I'm doing. The second challenge that I'm doing is a 75 hard. And that's 75 days. I have to commit to do like 5 things for 75 days. One of them is have a diet, which that'll be a good recommitment.
That's easy.
The other is, you got to stick to it too. If you fail, you got to start over, right?
So 2.5 months?
Yeah. And the other is to work out twice a day. And one of those workouts has to be outside. And this is about to be Arkansas summer. So it's about to be flipping hot.
And humid, yeah.
Yeah. And then take a picture every day, a progress pic every single day.
Okay.
And he's like, that's the easy one, but that's the one that kills a lot of people because they're like, oh, I forgot today. And then boom, you're done.
And if you forget or digress at all,
you have to start over.
Oof.
From day one.
Now, is this
and drink a gallon of water
every day or
every day?
Every sitting.
No, every day.
Okay.
So that's the 75 hard. And I've got stories about that on my Instagram right now. If you're interested in doing either one of those challenges with me, just go to my Instagram. It's Ray Zorback. It's right down there. RayZorback. Send me a message and let me know, and I'll put you in whatever groups I'm using for those two. So it's not like 75 hard is not a group effort. And he even tells you that in the book and on the little podcast thing that he has that you should listen to. He's like, this is just for you. There's no coaching. No one's going to be following up with you to make sure you do this every day. He's like, it's just you learning to discipline you. No. Chris Murray with the reminder. Don't forget no alcohol.
Yeah.
It's no alcohol. You can have fun, but no alcohol. So no alcohol for 75 days.
I mean, I did that just recently for 3 months, but
no,
I just the
75 hard or just the no alcohol part?
No, the no alcohol. But I probably drink a gallon of water every day. I work out I'm doing the 75. That's how I live. I live the 75 hard, bro, because I'm 75 years old. You guys say I look old, but I'm 48.
Yeah, I do not. And this is not water. So that's how I roll.
That's
all right.
Wait, by the way, Julie Moon said, bless your heart.
I know. It's a very Southern bless your heart.
It was so nice. Now, I have to ask, and by the way, if you guys hate the banter, the much maligned banter.
Look at Matt LaMarche's comment, though. He said, I did 3 a day, and it's a ton of work, but I got 1,000 new followers. That's similar results to what Candace had, too. She got a few more than that, but that's about it. That's about it.
And then people are going to reach out. I got a lead from TikTok without being on TikTok. So awesome. Now is the challenge for the we'll come to the banter. If you hate the banter, just click on the little things below or look for the intros. But if you miss one of the 3 videos or don't do 3 videos, does that start over too?
No, so that's it averages to 3 a day, but you just have to complete 90 in 30 days.
You could do 90 tomorrow and be done.
Yeah, that would totally mess up the algorithm. But yeah, you could. You'd get no benefit from it.
No, I'm just saying record them or record like 14 in a day and then just post them.
I'm totally got to batch the content because I'm too busy. So I'm probably going to do about 10 this afternoon.
Right. And they're all what do they average? 30 seconds? 15 seconds?
Yeah, 30 seconds to 60 seconds is usually my average in there.
That'll be fun. All right. I'm in.
Yeah. So anyway, if y'all want to join any of those, you just let me know.
Julie's good. We need to hit that and then start the show.
Julie Moon says one of the videos would have to be from the bathroom because I'm peeing all day long.
I think she means because of the gallon of water.
Because of the gallon of water, yeah.
I think that's what she means.
All right, you ready? Let's go. And there we are.
There's a really fat squirrel outside of my window, by the way, right now. I'm kind of in a
perfect transition.
Perfect transition. He's really cute. He's really fat.
All right, pending home sales. This article comes to us from CNBC. It says pending home sales post surprise increase in May, likely due to a brief pullback in mortgage rates. So, and again, this week we had a brief pullback in mortgage rates. So did the same thing happen? I don't know. Let's take a look. Pending home sales, a measure of signed contracts on existing home sales, rose slightly in May, up 0.7% compared with April, according to the National Association of Realtors. That broke a 6-month streak of declining demand, and sales were still 13.6% lower than May of 2021. And that is a time period in which they were way higher, in part due to the stressed inventory and people were going nuts trying to buy a house because the rates were so low. Buyers have been contending with rising mortgage rates since the start of the year, but rates actually pulled back slightly in May, which may account for the sales gain. Now, previously, they're always talking about how purchase applications are not as sensitive to rate increases or decreases. So it's weird to me that now they take the stance on this article in which the number of existing home sales are, or the number of pending home sales are going up. And they're saying, well, it's probably because the rate pullback. Which one is it? Are they not as sensitive or is it sensitive?
Well, okay, but now remember, we've been doing this show for 5 years. So the entirety of the show, they've been under 5%, right? 5.5%, I think. Since 2017 was the highest. Yeah. So, but now they were so low, Han Solo, they were so low that now that they're higher, people are like watching them. Oh, they went back. I want to lock in my rate now. So I would kind of have to agree with them that maybe things are that sensitive right now, because it does mention refis surged a little bit, but I think people are watching them so closely right now and they don't want them to go over 6. So they're trying to stay, keep them under 6 or whatever. So I would say that they are sensitive right now. I really would to little decreases.
Here's a quote from George Ratatouille.
I know.
I keep wanting to say Ratatouille, and that's not his name. Every single time.
I think it's just Ratatouille or
Ratiu.
Yeah.
He's a manager of economic research at Realtor.com. He said that while interest rates slid during the month, the cost of financing a home purchase remained elevated. At the midpoint of 2022, real estate markets are mirroring an economy reaching for its post-Pandy reality.
Yeah. I think that's a real important, it's trying to figure itself out. Remember after the crash of 2008, and then when was it? It was like 2000. When I started in 2011, 12, the market was just confused. It's like, I don't know. There's a lot. I feel like it was 09 where people were starting to be kind of like, okay, now we're starting to get a hang, or 2010 and 2011 and 12, there were still tons of foreclosures and things like that happening. But I feel like 09, people were kind of like trying to come out of it. Yeah. Like the haze, the fog of it, but things have been crazy. I mean, some of these articles mentioned, I think it's in Phoenix, which Dusty can attest to that. It's up just in the last year, it's another 30+%, 31% or something. So people are, freaking out on this one. Did you hit the one that the supply of homes for sale?
The quote there?
Yeah.
No.
I was going to hit that one because that one to me is pretty important and a good thing in my opinion. The supply of homes for sale has finally begun to rise, up 21% from a year ago, according to realtor.com. That's how you say realtor. It is still, however, about half pre-Rona levels. The median listing price last week was also up about 17% year over year, holding steady for the third straight week. So inventory's up, but did you notice that last part? Holding steady at 17%.
Yeah.
It's not going up, it's holding steady. I think that's really interesting. And was it in one of the comments here, Ray, or was it in our group chat where people are, who mentioned it, all of a sudden it's like a day, it's just changing. The market has changed almost like a day. Or
Shawnee said, I think Shawnee was saying that. Let's see, she's not here right now, but yeah, before we went live, she was in our clubhouse and she was talking about how it's changing so quickly there. Yeah. And that brings us to the next point or the next question. Are these home sales gains long-term or is this a short-term thing? All right. So Lawrence Yoon, he's the economist for the National Association of Realtors. He says that pending home sales, he says, despite the small gain in pending sales the prior month, the housing market is clearly undergoing a transition. Contract signings are down sizably from a year ago because of the much higher mortgage rates. Economists have pointed out to rapidly rising mortgage rates and expanding and to explain buyers growing more cautious. This monthly, the payment on a median price single family home assumed 10% of down payment has risen about $800 since the beginning of the year. So if you took some of the talking head advice that at the beginning of the year was like, don't buy a house yet, wait until the summer so that you get more inventory so that something else comes on, you're paying an average of $800 more per month for that home than you would have had you bought in January.
So that talking head just cost you $800 a month.
Cost you a lot. That's why you listen to our talking heads.
And that's why you need to don't follow the talking heads. Go to your local realtor, someone you trust, and have a real conversation with them, with them about this stuff.
So here's a big question that a lot of people have asked. Let me go to the comments, see if we have comments talking about this stuff. Sorry. Okay. It's just Teresa. Happy Wednesday to you too, Teresa. So some of the questions that I've gotten off the show are, okay, so the Fed is raising the interest rates, thereby through economy is also increasing the rate at which most people are paying for their home. Okay, if that's the case, is this cutting demand on the buyer side through an increase in interest rates good or bad? What say you?
I mean, for me, it's going to allow more, in my personal opinion, it's going to allow more homes to come on the market, which I'm seeing in my area. I don't know if you guys are as well, which then, and I know this conversation was in our Be More Contributors chat. That's going to then allow things to slow a little bit, but it's not.
Right.
Did you read Pete's comment? I should read it.
Where? I don't see it.
In the, not on here, in our actual
in our
group.
chat. No.
Yeah, I'll find it in a second. But,
find Pete's comment. I could give my 2 cents on it.
It's really, where is it? I have to scroll. But anyway, more inventory coming to the market will help things chill a little bit. And then,
but that's on the supply side. What the Fed is doing is basically cutting the demand side.
But they have to cut the demand side so the inventory can catch back up again.
No, they have to cut the demand side in order to get in front of inflation, I think.
Yes, sure.
But and that should hopefully we won't lose jobs because of it. So I think because the Fed has a two-part job, one is to maintain full employment, the other is to prevent inflation, and thereby the housing rates and how the mortgage rates, how it's kind of tied to bonds and such, that is going to move in relationship to what the Fed is doing. I think by choking off demand, I think that was the quote I saw that I agreed with. By choking off the demand on the buyer side, you wind up hurting the market versus finding ways to incentivize more supply. And so I do think there's going to be less buyers that are coming into the market, but I don't think that an increase in rates is the way to solve the issue of supply and demand. Are buyers going to have more choices that are there? Yeah.
How do they quickly slow the demand though, so inventory can catch up? Because you can't. So building new homes is often
yeah. I mean, that's basically what you have to do.
A solution, right? But that takes, with supply chain issues, whatever, 3, 6, 9 months. But demand is right here, right now. How do you adjust it so quickly to slow it down so that can catch up? You have to make it resale homes.
Well, I think you live with what I think has happened is that there's a lot of builders who have built a lot and they haven't been able to finish it because of supply chain constraints. So I think a lot of those homes will be finishing. And as they are finishing and coming on the market, we're going to see a sudden increase in supply from new construction. So I think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But, and I think they've been working on that for about a year. But I think it would take another year or two. But in one sense, you're making the economy, the housing economy, smaller by saying, hey, we're going to increase rates so much that only if you have to move are you going to move. So now that economy, that industry is smaller. Whereas if you increase supply, you expand that economy within housing and more people can get homes. So I think the incentive is at the wrong spot. Oftentimes, and we've talked about this, the government is trying to incentivize the buyer, make it easier for people to purchase, when we really should be somehow incentivizing builders to build more so that gives more inventory and more options for the buyers and satisfies the supply or the demand that way.
And sellers, how many times on this show have we mentioned a story that says there's a new incentive for buyers? What, 20, 30 times?
All the time.
And how many times have we covered a story that says there's new incentive for sellers? 0?
Never.
1? I don't think it's ever happened. There's never been. And we've also been doing this show for multiple presidencies. There's never been anything that's incentivizes sellers. Hey, sell your home now, and we won't charge you. You can keep your capital gains. Don't even worry about it. Just sell your home. We need more inventory. Sell it.
Mike, he's joining us in Clubhouse, but he posted a comment on YouTube, which I encourage all of you to comment on YouTube. It says, if the Fed eases off the tightening, there will be a positive shock to all markets, but the inflation hangover is going to be that much worse. Yeah, inflation is going to be bad, but real estate has historically been a hedge against inflation. So as far as real estate investments goes, it should be a boon for that. So but I wouldn't argue with you, Mike. I think you're right. If the Fed does ease off the tightening, then I think that would be good. But I don't think you can ease the tightening without also solving some major supply issues.
Yes. Every now
Chris Murray said, if I could avoid capital gains, I'd probably liquidate everything. That's a genius idea.
So thank you, Chris. But by the way, I love how he says that, a positive shock. And this is kind of where I land on these things, is because imagine I get a 2.5% interest rate. It's free money to buy a house. So I bought a house. My payment on a $500,000 house is extremely low, but I still make a pretty good living. So what am I going to do with all that extra money? I'm going to go travel. I'm going to buy Starbucks every day. I'm going to buy my kids those little electronic cars that they can drive around the neighborhood and have just toys for days. But now inflation is higher. All those things, I think housing is going to be the hedge, like you just said, Ray, against that. But all those other things are going to fall off. So I think this is kind of necessary evil, in my opinion.
Just made Dan a fan of trickle-down economics.
I love Ronald Reagan.
Reagan, baby. Milton Friedman. If y'all don't know Milton Friedman, go look up that guy. Right? Do you know Milton?
I know a Milton, not Milton Friedman, though.
Different Milton. Yeah. There's no guy in the neighborhood named Milton.
And I have Pete's comment if you want to go to the next here. So
what was Pete's comment?
This is in regards to, so Dusty was bringing up, I asked the question, are you guys seeing tons of reductions? So to everyone watching on YouTube, comment on YouTube. Don't comment on Facebook. Comment on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, go over to YouTube and comment, or in Clubhouse.
It does work better. Well, we should preface this. Like, the reason why is whenever you comment on Facebook, no one sees it except the only people watching Facebook.
Right.
Whenever you comment on YouTube, it actually kind of pings. It pings the algorithm and says, hey, people are commenting and interacting with this show. We should tell other people similar to these people commenting about this show. Facebook does not do that.
Facebook used to do that, but they don't. They've kind of quashed all that stuff, so it doesn't really tell you.
Oh, D Jones, longtime Facebook user, says, "Crap, I'll go to YT." Oh, we love you. Thank you.
There you go.
Anyway, sorry, Dan, I interrupted.
I had asked the questions, and I'll ask that to everyone listening and watching. Are you seeing lots of reductions in your area, price corrections? And everyone pretty much said yes. And then I have a lot. So and I just did Rancho. I forget what it is. It's 180 active listings. More than a third of them have had price decreases. So
wow.
69 price decreases. And they are higher priced homes. Nice. They are in the, I know, 69. And Pete said, yep. This is Pete speaking. Yep. This is Pete Thorpe, who is in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, real broker.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Good thing you had to mention that. Yeah, but I'm more concerned with headlines saying stupid stuff, redacted on the stuff there, like 50% of equity is gone, when it was 50% of the listings had a price drop, not the valuation cut in half.
Right.
I think that's very important to note.
I just looked up my market, and there's someone said last week I was in Utah at a conference, and they said 40% of that market had seen price decreases. That means 40% of the properties that were on the market had a price decrease of some sort.
Yeah.
And my follow-up question was like, that sounds like a lot, right? But my follow-up question was, well, how much is that elevated? Like, what was the baseline number? The baseline number
price anyway.
The baseline number for my market is 20%. We've seen 20% price decreases, man, for 2 years now, right? We've just seen 20% every single week. I look at the number every single week. It says 20% price decreases. Well, now last week it said 24. This week it says 26. So we are seeing an escalation in the number of homes that are experiencing a price decrease, but we're also seeing an escalation in the inventory coming on the market too. So this is back to the topic of prices are dropping, right? Home prices are dropping, and they are, but home values are still up. How does that compute? Well, they've still seen an increase in value. The price of the home and the value of the home still way up whatever it was, right. But the price that the seller thought they could get for that home has now been tamped down.
And it's still worth that 20 to 30% more than 2 years ago.
Right. Well, and so there was a Reddit person. I'm in the Reddit real estate groups, and there was a Reddit person that said, we were thinking about buying a home. We decided to wait for 3 months. We're so glad we did now that we've seen prices go down. And that's not accurate. And here's why. The homes that were listed 4 or 5 months ago, they were selling at or above list price, right? So let's say that each one of those homes sold a little bit above list price. Well, what does that do to the comparable properties in the next 30 days who are now listing a home? They look back and they see that, hey, this home was listed at $200,000. It sold for $220,000. So the comp that I'm going to use to price this home 30 days later is $220, right? So now I'm going to list this house at $220. That home sells at $225. 30 days later, another home's listed. What are they looking at as comps? This one sold at $220. This one sold at $225. We're going to go $230. And so they listed at $230. 30 days later, there's a new listing, right? Where are they going to look? They're saying, well, this one sold at $230. Let's sell ours at $235, right? And then the consumer says, ooh, the market has shifted. Put in an offer for $230. That's $5,000 less than where that property is currently listed. Right. Great. We got a deal. So glad we waited 3 months in which we could have paid $220. So we're not thinking through this clearly. Could it start happening the other way? It could, but will it? It's not likely. Like I said before, we're the only generation to think home prices are going to decrease because of what we saw happen, which is a once in a lifetime thing during 2007, 8, 9, when home prices went down 19.7%. All of the other recessions, except for one, other than that, home prices have increased 3 to 6%. And the other one that it went down was only 1.9%. So home prices are expected to increase even if we are headed for a massive recession. Your home prices will probably still go up.
They're just going to normalize a little bit.
Right. Chris Murray. on YouTube. Thanks for going to YouTube. Chris says it could have paid $220 at 4.25. Instead, they paid $230 at 5.5. Exactly.
That's the other side of that too, is when you add in the interest rate.
But wait, Chris. You marry the house, date your rate, right? That's the thing. All right, let me get to a couple of comments. Jason Bates, he says, I'm beginning to see a contraction in some loan products. Example, the 90% no mortgage insurance product is now priced way high, discouraging buyers from that product.
We have some mortgage
interesting
rate news in a little bit too.
Yeah, and then D, she did switch over to YouTube and says, this has my government name.
Well, but you've commented here before, so we knew.
Dulcinea.
We've seen that. It's not a surprise. We're okay.
Dulcinea, am I saying it right? Dulcinea Jones.
No.
Jason also said that the price reductions on properties that had no business being priced as high as they were, for example, they back a busy street but are still asking top dollar. Yes, exactly, Jason.
Right. And everyone has those markets, right? Where you're like, well, in the middle of this community, you get this price. On the outskirts where you're underneath that freeway overpass, it's another 50 grand less. Now, in the last 2 years, that 50 grand less has kind of gone away. You just kind of list it like the other homes, but now that's going to slowly creep back.
Yeah. So I think there will be a taming of list prices. And I think that taming will come from people being more realistic with their list prices as they're seeing the comps not be so crazy high. And the example I gave, I think, was pretty moderate compared to what has actually happened in the last, 3 or 4 months. So,
well, and even though Ray and I differ a little bit, which we really don't, because we don't differ on things, but is it really that surprising that things are normalizing? Like, I just think it's just so extremes right now. Everyone is either thinking, oh, it's going to crash, it's going to drop 20%, I'm going to wait, or 50%, like kind of Pete's example. But then there's the other side going, no. I'm going to wait until my house is worth, even though it's only, you tell me it's worth 600, I'm going to wait until it's worth, 900, and that's going to be in another month. Well, no, it's just not going to happen that way. You're not going to gain 50% equity that quickly. By the way, Cindy in Utah has what she's seeing on the price drops or price reductions, price improvements.
Yes.
She says we are having 36% price reductions, 60% new inventory. So
what was that? So 30%, 36% price reductions.
Yes.
What was the baseline number for price reductions over the last year?
Right. That would be a good question. And
that's my follow-up question to see how, let's see how sensational it is.
And she's also saying days on market have gone up 6 times, which sounds sensational,
6x.
right? 6x, but 5 days on market to 30 days on market. So it's not like it went from 30 days on market to what's 6 times, 180 days on market. And she's Salt Lake City. So she answered your question, 15.
So 15 is the baseline. So it's doubled, basically a little more than doubled the number of price reductions. So that's interesting.
Yeah. So
it's pretty significant.
Again, it is significant, but a normalization, right? And after a drastic 2 years, doesn't the normalization have to be kind of drastic?
Yeah, you would think. I mean, this is why I should show the thumbnail. Hang on. This is exactly why.
It's right here.
That's terrible, man.
I know,
you're like in full on dad joke mode.
Dude, I'm in the middle of nowhere, Colorado. There you go. Boom.
All right. So this is our thumbnail. It's a clip from Back to the Future for the audio listeners where Marty, isn't it Marty in his name? He's
that one. Yeah.
Yeah. He's holding a video camera with his mouth agape, looking on as the car went back into the future. And then Doc Brown. Yeah, Doc Brown is holding a remote control. Doc Brown is played by Dan Ludwig.
Yes. And I'm excited that
he's really excited.
88 miles an hour.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there amazed so this is why this is here though, is because it's almost like we're going back to the future. We're going back to a time period in which we're all looking into the future saying, well, it's still a strong seller's market, but with an increase in inventory, it's going to normalize things. And that's exactly what we said at the beginning of the 2019.
And I want to challenge everyone. Don't look it up. You just have to pull this from memory. What is Doc Brown's? What is his first name?
In the movie?
Yeah.
I would have to look that up. I don't know.
So there's a challenge for you. You get some good real estate news, but you also get fun challenges. If
there's
you don't
another
know
challenge.
You should know. I also saw the movie when it first came out. I was 12, by the way.
So the challenges we have going now are 90 TikToks in 30 days, 75 hard. And do you know
Doc
Brown's name?
First name.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Okay, so
I wanted to ask that question. So Scap, and I can ask Scap because I know we should move on, but I wanted to ask Ray because you were kind of mentioning. So Scap says, and he's an appraiser. In case you didn't know, it says Scap the appraiser. And I appreciate that you think I look old and tired. I'm just happy, he says. I don't have to make crazy and unrealistic market time adjustments on my appraisals as much anymore. There you go. Dan nailed it. So I wanted to ask you, Ray, you were kind of mentioning, hey, 3 months ago, I'm glad I waited because now I got a deal. I got a house that's for $230 that was listed at $235. I got a deal. Okay, but 3 months ago that was $220. Maybe you could have got it for $215.
Yeah.
So that sparked a question. So I wanted to ask you guys, because Ray, for the longest time, for those last couple of years, I mean, to do comps on a home, comparables on a home, I would still go back and kind of look at the market and kind of how it increased, but I would really focus on very recent sales. Are you opening that up now, Ray, and going back a little further, or no?
Yeah, I mean, we're also making some market time adjustments to homes that sold last year. It just depends on what's happening in a specific neighborhood. If there are not enough comps and we're going back 6 months and we only see properties 6 and 5 months, we still make a slight adjustment.
That's horse property. It's historic in the neighborhood. It's bigger than the rest. Then you have to go back, right?
Yeah. And the job we do is very different from an appraiser. Hopefully we all arrive at the same number. But I'm really looking at the market price and not a quote unquote lendable value. And what I'm trying to do on behalf of the seller is to find out the max number that we can put out there and market and sell the home and get that number. The appraiser's job is obviously different.
To prove the value.
Right. So one of the things we do, of course, we do a comparative market analysis. The other thing we do is a listing competition analysis. So once we have a number based on the competitive market analysis, what's sold and where are properties, and we make adjustments based on condition, location, all that stuff. So that gives us a number. Then we look at what's currently listed and we see how competitive we are at that range or list price with what's currently listed. And if that price, and we look at what's listed and we're like, wow, we're way better than any of these listings, then we could probably go towards the top of that range. But if we look on the market and say, wow, all of these listings are a little bit better than us, then we're probably at the bottom of that range. So now we have kind of a price to look at. The other number we look at is the absorption rate analysis. How fast is inventory being swallowed up that hits the market? And recently that is stretched. That's the absorption rate is taking longer now for homes. So it's more than like a days on market. We don't really pay attention to that specifically, but we're looking at the properties in this neighborhood. How long did it take them to be purchased when they were bought in that neighborhood? So you might get in a situation like I remember doing these analyses, 4 years ago, when not every property was selling. And you would see, for instance, 10 properties listed in a single month in a neighborhood, and 5 of those properties would go away. They'd be bought. So that means we had a 50% absorption rate. So then we knew how to be competitive with our list price. Well, for the longest time, it was like nearly 100%. And now we're not seeing that. Now we're seeing that there is an absorption rate and that properties are still, sometimes it's a 75 or an 80 or 90, but the rate of absorption is decreasing. And that is what we're looking at. We're not just looking at the rate itself. We're looking at what is happening to that rate over time. And right now, the absorption rate is starting to decrease. So our sellers need to be more competitive with their pricing. So those are the 3 analyses that we do as we list a property. If you don't know what those are and you're watching the show, I encourage you to look them up. Send me a message. I can send you some resources on it. But those 3 analyses really help us to price right and to sell very quickly and to maximize the value for our sellers. Oh, Scap says it's not that much different. I'm always appraising homes at the most probable price a home would sell for in the market. not advocating anyone to get more or less.
Well, it's our job to get the more or less, and it's Scap's job.
The more.
Yeah, to get the more, and then Scap's job to prove that it's worth that price, right?
Yeah.
And then when you're doing your market analysis, like competition market analysis, for a while, I'm assuming that you just look and there's no active listings right now, so we can kind of go with our what our comps say, what our comparative market analysis says, and we can try
towards
to
the top
a little bit, right?
Yeah, so now, we had to kind of be magicians a little bit,
right?
And what we would do is say, okay, there's 4 listings that are currently on the market, but all 4 of them are under contract. But we can predict based on what has been listed in that neighborhood over several months about how many homes will come on the market. And so we look at what has come on the market, and we say, okay, if this is an average, and we're doing a lot of this is more the art than the science, but we look at the average condition of those properties and the average prices that they're coming on, and then we use that to form our opinion. And sure enough, when we list, we can almost guarantee that there's 2 or 3 other properties that are going to be listing too, based on the history of what's happening in the neighborhood.
And then we can move on, but Ashley Wakefield says here in Southwest Missouri, I assume that's what SW space MO stands for. Southwest Missouri, we're seeing a lot more price reductions and back to markets. Buyers aren't settling for whatever anymore. Meaning Ashley, I've been able to get a lot of people under with sellers paying closing costs and at or under asking even, which is what Shawnee said as well. So it's, and I think that's a positive thing. I believe that.
Yeah. All right. So let's see what's happening with mortgage demand in the meantime. Mortgage demand stalls again, even as interest rates swing briefly lower.
So horrible. Like, just dumb. Come on. Stalls.
So
my God, everything's crashing and burning.
It's crashing and burning. After rising for 3 weeks, mortgage rates dipped slightly last week, prompting a small increase in refinance activity. Activity from home buyers, however, pulled back further, leaving total mortgage demand basically flat from the previous week, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. So activity from home buyers pulled back further, but it did see a small increase in refi activity. So that's the big number there. So whenever you guys see this on the news, now you kind of know.
There is activity, but it pulled back.
Applications to refi rose 2%, but we're 80% lower than 1 week a year ago.
Yeah, that's a big difference, which is. It's not a surprise, but that's a big one.
Which is why you see a lot of layoffs in the mortgage industry right now, right?
Yeah, I read. I was scrolling through real estate. There's one company that's just shutting down. They're not even taking on new mortgage applications, and people are concerned. Like, well, wait, what about what I'm doing? I'm currently in escrow with this mortgage company. I don't want to say their name because I don't want to bum anyone out. But what do I do? Are they going to sell the loan? Can you sell the loan before it closes? Like, what do I do?
Well, and hopefully the people. And hopefully the mortgage lenders that made bank last year because of all the refis took some of those increases and put them in their pockets. Because
hopefully they didn't, blow it all on, at conferences and stuff. JK.
All right. So let's see. It says applications to refi. Oh, I've already said that's 2%. Where's the? All right. This is a quote from Joel Kahn. He's a Mortgage Bankers Association economist. He says overall purchase activity has weakened in recent months due to a quick jump in mortgage rates, high home prices, and growing economic uncertainty. The average purchase loan amount declined $413,500, which highlights an ongoing downward trend since its record of $460,000 in March 2022.
But wait, hold on. Wait, read just the first sentence again on his quote.
The overall purchase activity has weakened in recent months due to a quick jump in mortgage rates, high home prices, and growing economic uncertainty.
That sounds doom and gloom, right?
Yep.
Okay, now read the second part.
The average purchase loan amount declined $413,500, which highlights an ongoing downward trend since it's hit a record of $460 in March of 2022.
Isn't that good for buyers?
Yeah, but what about for banks? They want to be able to loan more money.
Ah, okay. So it's for the bank, not the consumer. Okay.
What's the audience?
Okay. Because I'm
he says that the drop in loan size is likely a result of moderating price growth due to higher demand mortgage rates and buyers not being able to borrow as much as those for those high rates.
Yeah, but I think that's a great thing. It's a big difference. The high was 460, and we're hitting articles like the average loan amount has grown, and now it's back down another, 50 grand almost. That's a good thing in my opinion.
And the mortgage demand to purchase a home increased 0.1%. So it's basically flat.
That's flat. But yeah, so
it was 24% lower than a year ago.
It's not that bad.
It's pretty bad.
Were 3% a year ago.
It's not that bad.
It's bad. It's a difference, but it's not
that's bad. That's good.
And you got to remember too, the amount of people that were buying and looking because interest rates were so low. It was like, I don't want to buy a house right now, but I can buy one with a 2.5% rate. Like, okay, twist my arm, I'll buy a house.
Twist my arm, now I'm going to.
Yeah, again, incentivize buyers, not any sellers.
Right. Well, one of the things that people are doing is finding a different loan type. Demand for adjustable rate mortgages surge.
So crash impending, right? This is an impending doom, right?
Here we come. As interest rates make the biggest jump in 13 years, adjustable rate mortgage becomes the safe haven of consumers. Mortgage applications to purchase a home rose 8% last week versus the previous week. Ooh. This article is June 22nd. So this is Wednesday last week. Obviously, we couldn't cover it because we didn't do a show because I was at the conference. So this is talking about the week prior. So mortgage applications to purchase a home rose 8% last week compared with the previous week, bolstered in part by demand for adjustable rate mortgages. Applications, however, were 10% lower than they were the same week a year ago. Big jump in mortgage rates may have actually spurred home buyer demand, perhaps as consumers worried that rates would move even higher. Mortgages surged to levels past 2008.
Safe haven?
And this funny, like it's like, I mean, the inverse of the last article, but still dire.
Right.
Purchase applications increased for the second straight week, driven mainly by conventional applications, and the ARM share of applications jumped back to over 10%. That's another quote by Joel Kahn.
God.
The average loan size was at 420, well below its 460 peak. This is last week, a week ago.
We're going to hit another mortgage rate one, the surging mortgage rates spook house hunters. We're going to get to that. So I'm going to save because there's some numbers that I have questions about that are pretty cool.
Oh, did I pass that one?
No. It's later. You have it later down. We can hit it now, but
okay. Yeah.
They all kind of
all kind of go together.
Right.
Let me just do a quick flip and then we'll wait. We have 4 comments. Sorry, guys. Jason Bates says a couple of non-QM lenders have closed altogether. D. Jones says had a buyer pre-approved through Santander and the LO went missing. Came to find out they closed their mortgage department. Wow.
I have a lot of questions. What does went missing mean? Like if they live in Jersey, they went missing.
He was Epsteined.
I don't think.
Can you not say that?
I don't know. No. I mean,
it might get censored. You can't say DV on YouTube. You get censored for that.
Dave Vance? I know Dave Vance.
No.
Dave Vance is a good guy. Oh.
Rhymes with domestic violence. You can't say that on YouTube right now, or you'll get your reach will be cut by the YouTubes.
We'll just call it
interesting.
I get
it. Call it DV during the Amber Heard case.
Oh.
All right. Jason says, look at the bottom of Lake Mead for the missing.
Yeah, that's where that LO, he went missing. Now he's at the bottom of Lake Mead.
All right, let's take a look at wait, hang on. Sorry, that's the wrong one.
Cement shoes.
Cement shoes. Wait, isn't there Jimmy Hoffa buried on a field or something like that?
At Giant Stadium, right? I think so. At one of the end zones or something.
Yeah. Maybe they're there.
transitions are fire today, by the way.
Home sales, speaking of retreat, home sales retreat to pre-Pandy levels. This kind of was part of the thing that kicked off our Back to the Future analogy from the beginning of the show. Home sales fall from their Pandy-fueled highs as homeowners tighten up their budgets. Home sales eventually returned to levels seen in 2019 prior to the Pandy after 2 weeks of gangbuster performance, says Lauren Chun, chief economist of the National Association of Realtors. Movement in both single family and condo sales are nearly equal, possibly implying that the preference toward suburban living over the city life that had been present over the last 2 years is fading with a return to pre-Pandy conditions. So we did see that. You remember the phrase urban infill is what we talked about before the Pandy.
Yeah.
How a lot of people were coming from the suburbs into the city, and it was a huge movement, and there was more and more happening, and people were turning their apartment complex into gardens at the top of the apartment complex. All that stuff was happening. It was urban infill, urban infill, urban infill.
Yeah.
Then a Pandy happened, and everyone was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I don't want to be here. This is crazy.
And we had story after story of major cities and people moving outside of those cities, but it was zip code. It was within the same zip code. Do you remember those stories that we were talking about? Research was shown that people were moving, but they were trying to stay in the same zip code. They wanted to be in the same general area, but they didn't want to be in areas that were so compact. Yeah, because densely populated.
They would either drive a little farther. By the way, distance is farther, figurative is further, just so you guys know. If I'm saying I'm farther away from Ray, or if I say I'm further away from my goals, I'm not farther away from my goals, I'm further away from my goals. Anyway.
Is that real? I didn't know this.
That's the thing. Yeah.
I'm a wordsmith.
Yeah. Now you know. They would either drive farther or they would just work from home when that was is that still a thing? People are working from home? Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm Googling. So anyway, we were seeing those articles over and over. People were talking about that, but now it seems that based on the condo sales and single family home sales, that may be kind of evening back and moderating towards just a normal, where it's not really an urban infill and it's also not really a flight to the suburbs.
Now, does that mean people are like, oh, I got to be back closer to my job, or what does that mean then? Or people feel comfortable again with the Rona?
That's a good question.
The 10th
I don't know.
of it?
And one of my big questions is, and I think I brought this up last time we did the show, are we going to see a boon for secondary markets because of increase in interest rates, where people are going to say, wow, because of my increased interest rate, what I could get in California is not really worth it. I'm going to move to Arkansas because I could get so much more with the same interest rate. Or are they going to be like,
mass exodus.
This county in California, I'm going to move to that county in California instead because I can get more for the dollar.
I had an interesting conversation with two fellow coaches on the plane on the flight over here from Ontario, California to Denver, Colorado. And they are in an area that has had an explosion in population. But the type of population, now I'm going to dance around this, the type of population that has moved there, home prices has gone up, but the type of population that has moved there, they don't play softball. So their talent level,
they have a different cultural preference of sport.
They don't play softball, right? So their talent level that they can pull from, and they coach high school and travel ball, their talent level has gone down, but their home prices have gone. And then the talent has moved to other cities where things are more affordable.
Interesting.
Interesting, yeah. Because softball costs a lot of money. So you need to pay less for home so you can pay more for your softball.
Here's a little snapshot. This is from magazine.realtor. If you guys wonder where we get some of these news sources, it's usually magazine.realtor, CNBC. We used to get a lot from Housing Wire, but they stopped putting out so much good stuff unless it was behind a paywall, and the stuff behind a paywall is like, man.
I went to Housing Wire today, and it's very clickbaity.
They changed. They're more BuzzFeed than anything else now, so I don't really prefer them.
And it's
but anyway,
them.
You guys can download this if you want. They made a little downloadable thing for you. As realtors, you're paying for it. So it says that the sales in May were 5.41 million. Month over month, it's down 3.4. Year over year, it's down 8.6.
Okay.
Median sales price was at 407. Remember, median is in the middle. And inventory sat at 2.6 months. In May last year, you would think it'd be like 1 month, right? It was only 2.5 months last year. So interesting. I thought that was an interesting comparison. Besides further and farther, we have other interesting comparisons on the show.
Yes, we do.
All right. We have 2 more articles to cover. And this one kind of goes back to what we were just talking about with the rates. So let me bring that up.
Wait. Before you go on, yep. I wanted to do the closer look because you just showed the nationwide. So Northeast rose 1.5%. Midwest fell 5.3%. South, you're considered South, right, Ray? Not
I think
Midwest?
We're South.
So yeah. South dropped 2.8% in May and reached an annual rate of 2.41 million, down 8.4% from a year ago. The West fell 5.3% and reached an annual rate of 1.8 million, marking a 10% decline from a year earlier. So my question, Ray, if there's a mass exodus of all these people selling and leaving California, how is it going down? How is it lower than a year ago? I don't understand.
That's a good question, Dan. And you're just denying that it's actually, hey, don't look at the data to try to
don't look at the numbers that say different.
Ignore the numbers and let's go with the sensational political headline.
Just go with the emotional reaction, Ray. Okay,
right.
Okay.
Just like this. Surging rates spook house hunters. For audio listeners, the image above this article is a smashed piggy bank with
it's so sad with the coins everywhere strewn about. And now
I was trying to explain we have piggy banks for our kids and they have a little thing in the bottom. You pull it out and you pull out the money.
Yeah.
And I was trying to explain to them that back in the day, piggy banks, like you would put money in it. And then when you wanted it, you had to take a hammer and smash the piggy bank, which kept you from taking the money out.
Right. They didn't want you to get access to your piggy bank.
Right. And they were like, what?
Smash it.
It's like, yeah, you had to smash it. That's how you got your money out. And that kept you from spending the money because you'd have to smash it. Anyway.
Do you know my first reaction to this headline?
What?
They used this headline way too early. They needed to save this
save it for October.
In October.
I that was my first thought was, wow, this is an early one.
Way early.
I bet we'll see it again. I will put $10 that we will see this headline again. Surging mortgage rates spook house hunters.
100%. We'll see this, and it'll be pretty much a copy and paste of this article with some changes to update the numbers. That'll be it.
It'll say like real estate is now a ghost of itself. Something like that.
Yeah. There you go.
Has your agent ghosted you? I'm going to write that article for that time. All right. Mortgage rates climbed to their highest level since 2008, pinching home buyers' budgets. 30-year fixed rate mortgage averaged 5.78% this week, above its 2.93% average just a year ago. These rising mortgages rates have hurt affordability and decreased the purchase power of most buyers. Nadia Evangelou, senior economist at the director of forecasting in the National Association of Realtors, wrote on the association's blog. In addition to increasing the amount buyers are willing to borrow for a mortgage, higher interest rates lower their purchasing power since a larger portion of the economy, larger portion of their monthly budget will be put towards interest.
So what's going to happen, Ray? Because what's going to happen?
I mean, we're going to crash.
It's not what I was asking.
But I mean, let me look at my crystal ball. What is going in my crystal mason jar?
All those.
Look at my crystal mason jar. What will happen? It says.
You just want to on everyone.
Yeah, crash. It's a crash. No, affordability has been a topic since we started the show, I think. I mean, it was whenever we started the show 4 years ago, it was a market that was leaning towards buyers, and affordability was a big issue because they were talking about the difference in the increase in income versus what people were having to pay for where they want to live and what was going to happen. Obviously, people would run to the suburbs where homes are cheap. What did they do? It was urban infill, and they were buying these tiny apartments where stuff was so expensive per foot. And they were like, well, that's because millennials have more money. So, I think if people want to purchase a home, they're going to figure out how to buy it. Real estate has been a hedge against inflation. Real estate also makes more sense to purchase than to rent because when you rent, you're paying someone else's mortgage off. So you might as well pay your own mortgage off and buy something instead. So I don't, people are buying and selling houses with 13, 14% rates. So I just don't see it slowing down anything.
Well, and what I do see slowing down is like a year ago, I would have bought some jet skis just to have them go to the lake every now and then, a boat. And everyone knows a boat is a horrible investment, right? Now I got the boat. Yeah. Now I got the jet skis. Now they're like, well, maybe I'm going to sell that stuff and
sell it,
and not make any money. But now I'm going to sell it, or I'm not going to go to Starbucks as much. I think all those things are going to drop off. Not everyone.
All the luxury expenditures.
Yeah, not everyone is a skier nowadays. They're going to have to. I think housing is going to be, again, not only is it a hedge against inflation, it's also a necessity. Housing is a necessity. So
yeah,
you look at those factors instead of renting, maybe the only other thing I consider is just selling everything and living in a van and driving everywhere I want to go.
In a van down by the river.
That's the thing I come back to. I don't want to be that guy because eventually I will end up staying by a river and then I'll be living in a van down by the river. But
hi, my name's Dan. I'm a coach and motivational speaker.
I live in a van down by the river.
You can totally do that. That makes sense that a high school softball coach would be living in a van down by the river.
It's not, by the way, it's not far away from happening, Ray. It's not. Anyway, I think all those extra things that people have been doing and the extra long lines at Starbucks and everything, I think those are going to diminish. I think all that extra stuff is going to go away and people will stay focused on housing. Things will change, but I don't think it can't be a crash. There's not going to be a crash.
I'm still thinking about you did the, my name is Dan Ludwig, and I'm your coach and motivational speaker, and I'm here to get you kids whipped into shape. You've got to do that and spoof some of that, please.
If you need to contact me in my off hours, I'll be living in my van.
Down by the river.
It's not far away from happening. I'm telling you, it's not far away from happening.
Julie, is that chalk on your hands, or are you the little? Sorry. Instead of rolling doobies. All right, we've digressed. Congress.
From right into Congress, it goes.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Well, really, really good.
Congress targets investors and asks, "Where have all the houses gone?" Isn't there a song? Where have all the
Cowboys gone?
Cowboys gone?
Isn't it Cowboys?
Is it Cowboys?
I don't know.
Where have all the flowers gone?
Here, Spotify search.
I'm going to play 2 seconds of this. Let me see. Oh, wait. Can y'all hear that?
No,
y'all can't hear it. All right, wait.
It's Where Have All the Cowboys Gone, sung by Paula Cole.
No, it's Where Have All the Flowers Gone? Where have all the flowers gone?
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yeah.
Or there's Van Halen, Where Have All the Good Times Gone? That could be the housing market.
Oh, that could be. Yeah. All right, so hedge fund-backed investors increased their pace of buying single-family rental homes in the past few years, with the largest 5 investors growing to own enough homes to rent to everyone in the city of Detroit. That's according to the survey. If only somebody want to live there. That's according to the survey responses that the companies gave to the House Committee on Financial Services, which set its sights on the growing reach of its rent-to-own industry. No, of the own-to-rent industry.
Yeah.
Sorry. During the hearing Tuesday.
Astronomical, by the way. Did they blow you away when you read these?
No, it's something that I've kind of been watching for a little while. And actually, Shane, is Shane in here?
Right.
So there's some different clubhouse groups that I'm in that sometimes these institutional investors will come into and they talk about some of these major projects.
But I mean, when you go back to 5 years ago versus how many homes, and Ray's going to hit the numbers, I think, in a second. Doesn't that number blow you away? Yeah, it's way more. They've accumulated way more than I figured they would by this time. Now I understand why, and I get all that, but it's just a lot. Well, here was the question that I posed Shane and some of those guys a couple of weeks ago in the room. And so if whenever you see me go into a room in Clubhouse, I'm not there talking about something stupid. So come join and join the conversation. Yeah. My question to those guys was, why aren't you selling? Because, they bought knowing that the market would go up. And so usually investors then sell. But from what they're looking at, there's still such a glut of inventory, not only on the
for sale side, but also on the for rent side. And so they believe that they could still hold on to them longer and come out right on the backside. They think they're going to keep the gains that they've had up to this point and increase gains in rentals.
Now, are they holding at a loss currently right now? Are they just
No.
vacant, or
No.
Or they're just not getting the rents that they want to get? What are they doing with their inventory?
No, they're trying to get builders to build them more. So it's a whole build to rent situation is happening too.
Well, and the article mentions, you'll probably get to it, but the article mentions that a lot of new construction or builders either can't sell their homes or things have changed and people had to back out of contracts. So they're looking to, what are these called? Institutional investors to buy these homes.
It says, quote, institutional investors are there to make a profit, and it's a great tool for that, said Laura Lee Raymond, an assistant professor at the Georgia Institute of Technology. But the harm that it's doing to our communities is unsustainable. Because renters are not people too. I mean, what are they saying?
Well, she's focused more on generational wealth.
I don't understand it. These homes would likely have been bought by first-time home buyers, low to middle income, or both, said Representative Al Green, Democrat, Texas, who chairs the Financial Services Subcommittee in Oversight and Investigations.
But isn't that just a pontification, like a guess that would likely have been bought? Would they?
Well, basically, he's saying that these would have been bought by other people, and so you can't buy them.
Right, but that's just a thing they're saying. That's why, like, I understand the sentiment behind it. I understand what they're saying, but are there facts like, hey, if you would have not bought these, then they would have 100% been bought by these people because we have stats and facts from historically speaking to back it up? Or are they just saying it would have likely been bought, we think, by these people, and then maybe that would have helped them get generational wealth?
Yeah, no.
I feel like there's a lot of maybes here.
So in recent months, home builders have sought out single-family residential companies to finance construction when buyers have been forced to abandon their homes mid-deal.
They don't say why they were forced to abandon their homes, by the way.
No.
So I didn't understand that, but that's what I was mentioning a second ago.
The letter also specifically names Open Door, Knock, OfferPad, and Zillow as current and former iBuyers that have used technologies and billions from hedge funds and other investors. So basically now they're claiming that that home that was put on OfferPad, Knock, or Open Door would have gone to first-time home buyers, low to middle income buyers, or both. But instead, those companies bought them. And I guess the senator representatives are assuming that they kept them.
Well, Zillow sold them all. They overpaid for most things and then had to sell all 20,000 or whatever it was, right? 21,000, I think it was. But now these others that do the horrible flips, the Open Door and the Red, whatever they are, they sold them, right? They bought them and sold them unless they couldn't.
Yeah.
But they took a loss on them. But so who are they focused on? Because they mentioned Zillow. Zillow's not a hold to rent place. They're selling. They're trying to sell it. Same with Open Door, right? Same with a lot of the iBuyers. They're trying to do a minimal flip and then sell them, right? They're not. I think, are they targeting the right group here? Or are they targeting all of them and lumping them in together?
What they're trying to say is the reason why you, Mr. Consumer, in the lower 1/3 of the market can't buy a home, it's because the hedge funds
Zillow bought it
and Zillow are buying them all. That's what they're trying to say. And that works if you have an attitude of scarcity or a belief that there's only a limited amount of possible homes. But if you believe that an increase in players in a marketplace work with economies of scale and could eventually lower not only the cost, but also lower how much those people will pay for these homes in the future, then this is not a big deal. So, and that's kind of where I am, because whenever you have a ton of people entering a certain marketplace, what happens, right? Like, let's pretend that Real Estate News was suddenly a huge win on podcast, right? And me and Dan have one of the longest running real estate news shows in the history of all podcasts. And now suddenly, right. And we're suddenly making $1 million because the run of real estate news, everyone's like, holy crap. Like, I mean, you can make billions of dollars doing real estate news. What would happen?
everyone would jump into the market.
There would be so many people doing real estate news shows, right? Well, similarly, when builders are like, whoa, look at all you can make from these hedge fund guys, just build homes and they're going to come buy them.
But
well, you're going to have a lot of people become builders.
But they're not in the market to make money. Builders.
Okay. This is capitalist. This is why price fixes and all that. I'm totally against all of that stuff. I'm a total capitalist in all of these. So I have trouble going through this when you hear the senators talk about it, how they're talking about it. It's because you bought something. Now these people can't buy something. So now you can't buy something.
Okay. But what if I
messes up? That messes up.
What if there were 20 offers on a house, all of them first-time buyers, and I got it because I went higher or had better terms or had a bigger down payment than those other? Am I the enemy now?
If you're an institutional investor, yes.
No, but what if I'm just saying, what if I'm not? Now, what if that happened on a larger scale?
Oh.
Now, what is the problem? I'm saying they're looking for a problem.
Well, it depends on if you're in one of their voting classes.
Do you understand? Right. I think they're looking for more problems because my biggest question here, I wrote down, I typed this into my little notes, is there any action taking place or are they just bringing up more problems and not creating any solutions? Do you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times these are just problems. They're just saying, well, if you wouldn't have done this, then this wouldn't have happened. By the way, it's awesome when I get handsy and I point at the screen and my hand goes right to my
very nice.
Now, it's just another problem. Okay, well, if you wouldn't have done this, so they're essentially pandering to their voters, right? Like, well, hey, we tried, but we lost. But hey, look at what we tried to do. Now vote for us again, and we'll try to do it again. Is that what they're doing?
Yeah. In short.
Like, but also, so if I'm a first-time buyer going up against a Zillow offer, and they go up and they overpay for it, I go, thank you. I don't
No. That's the wrong response.
Oh, it is.
You should, you need to now say, oh, because Zillow bought this home, I can't buy this home. They shouldn't be allowed to buy homes.
I would say, thank you. I'm going to go buy another house that's reasonably priced that I can get.
Well, they're going to do that to that one too, Dan.
Dang. Yeah. So then I'll go look at another one.
Adam Johnson says, quit drinking. Nobody is building homes in the median price range. It just isn't happening. There's some big builders that are doing lower price. We have a couple in our area. Adam also says, unless it costs more to produce real estate news than the profit it produces. That's kind of where we currently are.
Yeah.
But then it would be profit. If it costs more to produce the news than the profit, then it wouldn't be a profit.
Which is where we live now.
Yeah, the winner is always the enemy in the lover's eyes. Ooh,
that's a profound
what
statement.
A quote.
Jeez.
The winner is always the enemy in the lover's eyes.
Now,
Adam bringing the heat today.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with what they're trying to do, but is there really a problem here? Or are they just, crying wolf?
I mean, they're crying vote for me is what they're crying. It's November's coming.
Yeah. Losers.
No. He says losers' eyes. No, lovers.
No, we're losers. Lovers, dude.
Adam Johnson says losers. It should have been losers. So rereading the quote, it should have been the winner is always the enemy in the loser's eyes. But I think your quote is more meaningful the other way.
I agree, dude. It's kind of like beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Right. The winner is always the enemy in the lover's eyes. All right.
Yeah. So Melissa says they started building in the median price range, but now it's not in the median anymore. It's worth more now.
They start whenever they broke ground, they had a nice median sales price.
It was here, but
now due to cost.
Here, if I'm on the screen still, and then But overall, though, this is a great show. I cannot wait until Ray and I are making billions just because we started first in this.
Just because real estate news.
We literally started the industry. That's a bold claim. It didn't happen, but I'm just saying.
Who was first? Real estate news? I don't know who would have been firster.
I don't think anyone else was firster. I mean,
I think we was the firstest.
We was the firstest, and we're definitely the firstest and bestest to do it how we do it, of course.
That's true.
So, pay us the billions, please. My Cash App is right here. D. Ludwig Rocks.
Where can people find you, Dan?
D. Ludwig Rocks. Go find me on Instagram. I ebb and flow with the social medias, but I'm back in the in the lover's eyes right now with Instagram. I'm having fun with it, putting out a little more different content. And then obviously it's fun to, I put out more guerrilla style content. Ray puts out more legit content. But he tags me in it and it's fun. And so yeah, right here, D Ludwig Rocks, DLUDWIG, ROCKS. Where can they find you, Ray?
Find me on the TikTok, RAYZORBACK, and get ready. The challenge is happening. There's not much on there right now. Don't worry. But
you're about to be inundated
with
content in the next 30 days.
Right.
If you didn't hear, Ray is doing 2 challenges. One is the 75 hard. You can read about that on the interwebs. But 90 videos, Ray, in
90
days.
videos in 30 days on the Ticker Talkers. And currently I have like 700 and something people on there. If I get to 1,000 people following me there, I could go live. So that would be cool to go live on TikTok.
Well, and Matt Malarsh said he did a similar challenge and gained.
He got 1,000 people. Yeah.
Days. So you would essentially jump up to 1,700.
Yeah. Basically, if you're following Matt LaMarche, then you should probably follow me too. Is that the way to do it?
Well, I would be concerned for Matt because Ray's content is so good.
So fire.
I love Matt. I'm just kidding, buddy. I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. And we will see you guys next week, I believe, right?
That is a lot of Ray happening, Melissa. Bye.
That's a lot of Ray. Take it all in.
The more Ray, the
Bye, everybody. The more Ray, the better.